cockpit, add about another 20 to 30 knots ground speed is what they're going to be doing when they hit this course.
Yeah, this is not a case of getting up to speed during the course of the race. These guys are going to be pedal to the metal coming in, right?
Okay, Andrew Findlay's trying to watch two things.
What you got, 3-0?
He's trying to watch the pace plane to his left, and he's trying to watch his instruments in front of him. He keeps sneaking a look. The hand went forward to the panel. That's to roll some more boost in. Okay, they are on the course. Watch the jet pull up. We're racing, folks. They have to stay in their respective lanes until they get to the guide pylon. Andrew's got a great start. He may actually have the whole shot on Jeff Lavelle. That's what he's going to need. When he gets that guide pylon here in just a second, there's going to be a hard roll to the left. It's going to be about a 6G pull, Tommy, as he makes this corner. Watch him rack it up to a 90-degree bank here in just a second. About 6.5 Gs right there. Look at him bouncing around the cockpit at over 400 miles an hour. Look at that, full 90-degree bank being packed in the cockpit about 6 times his body weight. These pilots have to be in condition.
Very physical, active flying these sport planes here, going that fast. Andrew Findlay, you'd have to say that was a successful start for him.
Absolutely. Jeff Lavelle sitting back there going, Andrew Findlay, how's a guy to make a living in sport with you doing this?
Well, he is going to give it all, as you said about our last race, the T6 Gold. You might save a little during the course of these 4 days of racing. You might be a little light on your equipment, hoping it makes it through 4 days. Now, all bets are off. Everything's on the table.
Well, apparently yesterday, Jeff Lavelle, kind of came back at the pits, licking his wounds and said, I guess I'm going to have to push it a little bit more. Something Jeff Lavelle hasn't said in 8 years. I guess I'm going to have to push it.
So far, Andrew Findlay able to maintain that lead. He staked out for himself in the opening seconds of this race here as we head into lap number 2 of 6 laps.
And it looks like Vince Walker may have moved up a little bit from the back, but our race still is out in the front. And boy, are they moving. Andrew Findlay is given he's given a lesson in air racing today. Look at the lead he's got back there at the 11 o'clock position on the course. He is giving a clinic on air racing. If that little 700 horsepower twin turbocharged Continental air-cooled engine can stay together, because I guarantee it's being run hard right now, harder than it's ever been run in its life. They did a lot of work to the engine. They did a lot of work to the airframe. They took 9 inches off each wingtip, and they took the vinyl wrap off the wings because at the speeds he was going this year, they were bubbling up and they was losing speed.
Into the valley of speed, a look at 3rd and 4th place here.
Okay, that's my good friend Jimmy Russ chasing down Bob Mills, a local pilot right here in Reno, Nevada. Jimmy's flying behind a 600 horsepower Lycoming, chasing down a 550 horse Continental in that Super Glass Air 3. Well, we've got a couple races going all over this course right now.
We don't dare take our eyes off the leader for very, very long, and there he is right there, race 30. Andrew Findlay getting off to a good start here and opening up a little ground ahead of Jeff Lavelle, defending champion Jeff Lavelle.
He's got to be loving that clean air with no number 39 in his front windscreen like he's used to seeing. Look at that. The course is all his. It's his to lose at this point, because if he cuts a pylon, he's going to give it away. If he does everything right now, this could be his top of the podium for the first time for Andrew Findlay and Steele.
You were talking about his wings a moment ago. I don't know if we'll get a shot of the underside of his wings, but on each wing, the representation of a saw bar and blade of a Steel 066 chainsaw.
Well, I think that may have been what the graphic is, the vinyl he took off. Because I think his wings are,
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, see, his wings are all white now.
Okay, that's the part that's gone.
Yeah, that vinyl graphic was actually bubbling up and creating drag, so they took it off this year.
That's what he took, okay.
Took the graphics off the wing and clipped 9 inches off each wingtip, and boy, did it work. You know, every flight, these airplanes are experimental category, because every time you leave the ground, it's an experiment. But nobody experimented more than what Andrew Findlay did this past year, and it paid off.
Had to go back to the drawing board. In fact, during the course of this race, not back to the drawing board, just performed some essential maintenance and certainly got rid of the problem that plagued him on day 2 of racing.
Look at that cockpit shot, racked up at 90 degrees. So he's pulling about 4.5 Gs. Okay, 3rd and 4th, still a good race back there. That should be Bob Mills and Jimmy Rust out of El Cajon, California. Both flying Super Glass Airs. One's 550 horse in front. Jimmy Rust has a 600 horse Lycoming in his.
Oh, this race is going by so very quickly. The speeds.
I guarantee it's not going fast enough for Andrew Findlay.
No, time is slowed down for Andrew Findlay. He just doesn't want to. He don't want to see anyone else. If he doesn't see anyone else, everything's perfect.
Way too fast for Jeff Lavelle, not fast enough for Andrew Findlay. But see, this is what Andrew's got to be. You know, if any of you guys have raced before, I used to race motorcycles. You've got to be really careful that you keep being aggressive. You don't want to try and protect first place. You want to win the race outright. You want to make them chase you down. You don't want to get into mode where you try and protect the win, because if you do that, then you could get snuck up on. So he's got to keep pushing like if he was in second place. Don't relax just because you're in first.
Hard to tell from this angle. We'll see when they go by. It may be that Jeff Lavelle has been able to scratch out a few more yards on him and get a little closer to Andrew Findlay in race 30.
I think he's reeled him in a little bit. Okay, there's Andrew Findlay, the beautiful orange and white steel Team Steel aircraft. Powered by the 700 horsepower twin turbocharged air-cooled Continental with ADI, anti-detonation injection. They are twin turbos. They're boosting these steel cylinders, turning them into 6 little metal balloons right now. They're packing so much air into those cylinders.
This is our white flag, last lap on the way.
He's starting to overtake aircraft, which passing aircraft can always be a factor.
Could slow you down a bit, right?
Well, you got to make sure you pass high and to the right on them. The slower airplanes are always advised, just fly your line. They will treat you as a stationary target. Don't try and move for them to stay there. They'll go around you.
Andrew Findlay, like you said, don't defeat yourself here. Out there in that clean air, just getting to do what he came to do here in Reno.
You realize he's covering about 3 miles, actually probably more about 5 or 6 miles a minute out there right now. Look how fast he's going. A football field, 2 football fields a second is what he's covering.
In a homemade racer.
Boy, great shot from the cockpit of the high desert here in Reno, Nevada. Stead Field, 10 miles north of downtown Reno.
Coming down to it here, final lap of Sport Gold.
Racked up 9-degree bank, coming around for the 7, 8, 9 pylons one more time. Now he's lined up right in front of the audience.
Here we go. We talked about Andrew Findlay. He could make this the greatest day of his racing career, and it looks like he has done it.
Was that a fist pump I cut?
I think we got a little something out of him right there, and why not? Time to celebrate for Andrew Findlay.
Okay, now I guarantee his team's listening to the radio as the pylon judges check in. Here's our other airplanes. Jeff Lavelle was way back. He dropped way back.
Yeah,
Andrew conducted a clinic today in how to race the sport class. Now they're going to trade airspeed for altitude. They're going to climb up into their cool-down laps. This is where they're going to... We still have some planes on the course here. They're still racing out there.
Just wrapping up the final planes in Sport Gold here.
Going for bragging rights now. There's Jimmy Rust.